All right, good afternoon. It is Saturday, September 21st, and we had our first rate cut last week of the new upcoming cycle of quantitative easing, and we dropped a whole half of a percentage point. So it was in my opinion, I think we've talked about this before, but I believe that was already priced into the market. But if you were looking on the official expectation of the first rate cut, it was just a 0.25 basis point drop. But then we went to a whole entire half. So we're going to get into that current event style and do our analysis as we always do. I was kind of laughing. I know I'm a little late. I'm like 15 minutes late. I've been on Zoom. I was just having a conversation with somebody real quick, but I was laughing last week because the meeting was over in like 45 minutes. And I was like, I ended the meeting or whatever. And, Zoom was like converting it onto my computer so I could have the file. And I'm like, did I miss something? I was like questioning myself because it was a quicker, you know what I'm saying, meeting than usual. But I think I'm just like, we're just getting in the flow here of doing our analysis, coming to the chart, doing what we need to do, and then walking away, which is the beauty of Forex. I mean, you could go and work an 8-hour shift, or you could come to the charts for 45 minutes on Saturday and prepare yourself to trade for the week. So, all right. So that being said, let's go ahead and start off in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so thankful always for your grace and for your love, God. You are just so ever present in our world, constantly guiding us, constantly leading us, constantly blessing us, even past the extent to which we know that you are blessing us, Lord. And it is just such a powerful feeling of absolute joy to have in our hearts at all times. Lord, we just praise your name. As we come to our analysis today, God, guide us through as you always do. Let your spirit of wisdom and understanding rest on us. Lord, let us do work that is patient, that is disciplined. Lord, let us do work that will be a testament to your blessings in our life, God. I pray these things in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. All right. I really need to get different internet. I really apologize in advance. Like, if this is a bad connection on my end and it's translating to a, you know what I mean, tough monologue, I apologize in advance for that. If it's really tough to understand, I'm always available on Discord. Reach out to me and I can send you our analysis that we do. In writing, like I can send you this just so you can have it. Okay. 921. Yep, that's the right one. Okay. All right. So last week we said Price may open a bit lower than push up into at least the relative equal highs to grab some buy side liquidity before selling during the rate cut decision. There is also the higher 2-week imbalance to keep an eye on. Our option 2 was price sweeps buy side, then sells to take sell side swing low, then buys into the higher time frame imbalance, leaving a bullish weekly candle. So I would say absolutely neither of those options played out. Surprisingly enough, we have, I think it's like a consolidation candle. Oh, okay, no. I mean, yeah, it's a consolidation candle. So pretty much like we had a push to the upside and we also had a push to the downside. And this push to the downside was actually on the day of the rate cut, obviously. But if you were on the charts that morning, price literally sold very fast, took the sell side liquidity that we had marked here, and then it just went right back to where it came from. So here was our Sunday open, right? Price opened lower actually by Tuesday. And then upon the rate cut, we did get a sell. So we had these equal lows that were created in the weekly range. We had this equal low here. We had these equal lows here that we were keeping our eyes on from the beginning of the week. So we did get a sweep of that, but again, price came right back up and came up to push towards some buy side liquidity. It didn't quite make it to these equal highs that we were looking at. So I would say that this kind of played out. It just played out in a weird order. It sold first and then pushed up. But yeah, I expected to get, obviously a move that was going to push further down. So that kind of tells you that either we're just consolidating here and creating some manipulation, or that has definitely already been priced into the market, that rate cut. So that's very possible because, as you can see, this was our first rate cut on September, what was it, September, is it 18th? Yeah. So September 18th, Wednesday, was our first rate cut. But as you can see, the dollar has been selling since April, since July, right? So I don't know if the following next week will just begin to sell off. That's what I would think, given that we have just lowered rates. But like I said, if it's still priced into the market, we could just continue to either consolidate here, or we could come up and get this liquidity that we've had our eye on. So, excuse me. Money is definitely being moved around in the markets right now. So we could just be seeing a lag in price delivery. So, or there's orders that have been put in even months ago and they haven't been tapped into yet, et cetera, et cetera. But as you can see, the market has been selling off way before we even lowered rates. Okay, so I would say for this week, our analysis is going to be very much the same as last week, kind of, because it didn't really go anywhere. So like even this 2-week candle that we had close, price kind of just went back and forth, didn't really go anywhere. If we were going to sell, I was looking for these equal lows to be taken out, and there is a order block here in imbalance that is directly below these relative equal lows. So if we do sell off, that is my downside objective. But we just want to wait and see how we're going to break out of this current consolidation. So if I pull this over, we just had this sell side sweep, right? So I would imagine some form of buy side is being sought out next. It could be argued that this was that buy side sweep, but I mean, if you're going to take out a macro liquidity pool on the sell side, I would think that it's seeking a liquidity pool of equal volume, which I just don't see that here. So, in my opinion, keeping in mind the objectives on the upside that we have yet to take. We've got a bearish here. This is definitely some form of distribution in my eyes. Okay. So on the 4-hour, I see this high right here. So we had this price leg trending down, right? So we have our high, we have our low, a high, a low, a high, a low, right? A high, a low. Then we broke above this high right here, and then we went back down and just swept liquidity that was created. And then we immediately pushed back up to again make a higher high. But we do have this wick here, so this could also be a possible rejection on the buy side. But when you have a continuation of structure or a new high, right, we want to see price retrace that price leg. And as you can see, price kind of created a small little trend downward, and it hit the 78% right here, which is an optimal trade entry. So if we are going to continue to the upside, I want to see this high get broken right here, because this is the current high in the downtrend that's retracing this leg, if that makes sense. So if we get a bullish week, I could see maybe like a break to the upside in the first part of the week. Monday, Sunday, Monday. Maybe we get a retracement again, maybe a sweep of these lows. But typically when you have a break, it might just use that area broke as support. So we could see it come here, we could see it come down here, we could see it come down here. And then we would see price climb higher. So this would be like Tuesday, Wednesday, or excuse me, this would be like Sunday, Monday. Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, we end up somewhere in this area, not breaking this low. I would like to see this low hold. And then we start climbing up to some buy side levels that we had marked. Okay. And then the previous week, we would see price continue down, or the following week. So pretty simple. Do I think we could sell off next week? And this would be like Sunday, Monday, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, rest of the week. Yeah, why not? Let's check the news if we have a news heavy week. Never say never. Monday. GDP, unemployment claims. I don't know if any of you guys caught this, but unemployment claims, they're saying that they're still like they're high or whatever, but it's not anything to be worried about because they're saying that because of the influx of migration in the past years, there's a lot of extra people who are on unemployment. So that number has been skewed a little bit. That's what they're saying. House speaks on Thursday. That could definitely give us some volatility. And also help set expectations for the future. So, I mean, and that's on Thursday, guys. So that's a perfect time for price to start moving in an expansive direction. Daylight savings day. Oh, that's for NZD. Okay. So I'll delete that for now. And then I'll just make another one. That. Let's see. Let's just check the daily one more time. Weekly. Let's see, do we have a 3-week closure? Nope. Throw a fib on this candle. Let's see. I could see a scenario like if we just consolidated in this area, we could create, here's a low, here's a high, here's a high. We could create like another high next to it and kind of get some sort of consolidation, right? And then we could see like a sweep on that consolidation, hitting the 78% of that bearish weekly candle, and then we could sell off here by respecting this high as well. So let me just move these over. So that would be easier to see. Yeah. So if that happened, we could definitely see some like liquidity right here, like relative equal highs. And then those could definitely get swept, engineered, then swept, retracing that weekly candle and then selling off. Okay, so that looks good to me. Definitely bearish overall, but I mean, if we start going higher, I'm fine with that too. Yeah, like the way I think of this is, I mean, clearly the masses are going to begin selling the dollar, you know what I mean, upon a rate cut decision. And so typically, I don't think that like the institutional investors move with the retail investors. So this was kind of like easy money to them because they're like, oh yeah, no, we're selling, psych. And they just took all their stop losses and stopped, I don't know, probably millions of people out of the market doing that. Um, so I do believe it's going to continue selling, but they're kind of just collecting positions in the market as of right now. Oh, all right, let's look at the NASDAQ. So we were just bullish all week last week. Which was pretty expected. Um, so this was our Sunday open right here. This candle right here. We dropped below that by Monday. We took out our opening price. So it created a nice bullish weekly candle with a pretty equal wick on each side here. But yeah, so we were definitely one-sided all week though. So we had our drop below opening price, giving us that power of 3. And then there was like so many textbook opportunities for NASDAQ this week too. So yeah, so we came below opening price, giving us that nice wick on the bottom of a bullish candle for the weekly power of 3. And then New York session during Monday, we started pushing up to the upside, and then we closed out for the day, right? And then we opened with a huge gap. A gap like this in the middle of swap isn't super common, but I had some people that I was trading with say that it was because the futures contracts are actually switching from Q3 to Q4, which created that gap. If you look on the 4X chart, where were we? It looks completely different, obviously. So this was our Sunday, right? Sunday open right here on this candle. Price went below on Monday, taking liquidity here. And then during New York session, we began to push up, and it just continued to push up through the Asian session during the next daily candle, and even through London. And then we sold during New York here. So that's not even on the 4X, just because obviously 4X is a continuous feed. It's not based off of contracts that expire. So yeah, so we had this gap. I actually took a trade on Tuesday to sell price into that gap, and it was really annoying. I did lose that trade. Obviously not because my analysis was wrong, but I think I entered on this wick right here. I entered on this sell side sweep, and then price swept me out again and then sold off. So that was fun. But hey, can't win them all. So yeah, so after that, we just continued to trend upward. Here is Wednesday's price action on 11 a.m. right here. We had a very large wick. And yeah, so we just really, really good price action, even on Dow Jones as well. So yeah, so here's that trade I was just telling you about. I also took it on Dow Jones, but it was to fill this gap, and I entered on this wick, got wicked out again, and then it sold. I love when that happens. Okay, so pretty much we ended our week bullish, and we finally took this high. So I'm just going back to our analysis last week to compare. We said price opens lower than higher into the buy side liquidity, then sells off the 2-week order block for the rest of the week. Price opens lower on Sunday, then pushes into buy side liquidity on Monday, then sells off for the 2-week OB, either making a higher low or a new low, then pivots around rate decisions and buys to the upside. That would have been this option right here, or this one. So just recapping, I think I said it would open lower, then go into buy side here, and then we would get a sell, which we did get a sell right here, but it just didn't go as low as I had anticipated. It just kept this nice uptrend here, which is also fine. And then we continue to the upside. So I would say more of our option 2 played out. Because remember, we did have this large 2-week order block last week. and price obviously just smashed through it. As you can see, we have a beautiful new 2-week order block. So let's just go ahead and use that to open our analysis today. Throw the fib on it and delete this line. Let's look at our weekly candle. So I would say in an environment like this, like obviously we broke. Let's just go to the daily real quick. So we had broken this high right here some time ago, and now we have price making a new high. So clearly this up, we have a new uptrend that's forming here. So some would say that when you get a new high, you want to see a retracement and then price to continue higher. So that could look like price just taking out its high for the week. Because again, we did have this bullish order block here on the daily, and it didn't necessarily get a chance to continue to push up before Friday closed. So we could just get this high taken out right here. There's always liquidity resting at the weekly high or the weekly low. And then we could see price continue down, retracing. Here's a 38%, which would actually finish filling that gap. So I kind of like that. Or we have our 50%, or maybe even lower. There's imbalances here. But we're just going to start with the 38, and then we could see price continue high to continue this uptrend that we have, and also to possibly make a new all-time high, which we will and should be seeing in the near future, because I do believe a lot of money is going into the indexes from the dollar from the federal market. So that would be like a bullish perspective. I would say a bearish perspective is going to be like maybe an open lower here some. Let me delete this real quick. I want to fib the weekly candle real quick. So as you can see, the 78% of the weekly candle is right on the line of that 38% of the 2-week candle, which also fills that gap completely that we saw. So I really like this area right here for price to bounce before continuing to the upside. If we were to get a bearish week, let's just take a look at this gap right here. So I would say, and I'm going to mark that real quick. I'm going to mark the top of this gap. But I would say that we would get like a push lower and then a push higher, maybe filling that gap, right? This will be our Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we could see price push down to our desired zone, right? So let me just delete this for you. Clean this up a bit. And then the following week it would push up, right? So that would be a bearish scenario. Could it go lower? Yes, it could definitely go lower. But I always say take your closest objective first and then go to the next if it passes that. Yeah, so at this point, I'm honestly looking for sell side sweeps. That's it. I didn't really even want to sell on that Tuesday, but that gap was so obvious to me, and that we were definitely getting price action to confirm a sell. But it's super tricky, so I think the sell side sweeps are going to be easier to catch than going against the trend. When you get an extremely bullish market, an index, in my experience, it's not wise to trade to try and sell it unless you're going to get out like immediately. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna mark this gap. All right, so Dow Jones kind of did a bit. I mean, it was bullish all week as well, but we are in a different location relative to its structure. So we have definitely already taken the highs. We are well above the previous macro swing high. So we are definitely in new uncharted territory. Just like NAS, we still have a gap that was partially filled, right? So we still have some area that could be filled as well. Just keeping that in mind. So upon our Sunday open on the Dow, we actually barely had price go below its open. See, but it still did. Power 3 is still there, still working like it always does. Delete that real quick. So this is our negative 27. This was my that was my bullish objective for Dow Jones, because I think did last week we took the high? I think we did. Let me see. No, we were like down here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as you can see here, that negative 27 is what we plotted out to be the next bullish objective if it did break, because we were so close to the high last week. So we put price opens lower on Sunday, then pushes up into the all-time relative equal high, then sells off for the remainder of the week, making it to the fib levels below or creating a higher low of the current bullish structure. Option 2 price takes out last week's high on Sunday, then over down for, I don't know what that means, then goes down for the beginning of the week to give the sell of the bearish weekly OB, either making a new low or higher low, then pivoting towards the upside of the market. So I would say closer to option 2 played out, because this was our Sunday and we did take these highs by Monday. And then just like on NASDAQ, we did have a sell, but it sold into continue this overall trend right here. It didn't come into any levels that would have retraced this break. But we did just continue bullish towards this objective. So yeah, so we have an extremely bullish candle right there. I think we could see a move like this potentially. But that being said, we definitely, have a 2-week order block. So let's go ahead and throw our fib on that as always. Okay. Our weeklies like that. Let's throw a fib on the weekly. So it's looking like our 78% and our 38% again are very close to each other. I'm just gonna actually, this gap is resting in this between the 61.8 and the 70% of that weekly candle retracement. So I just want to keep in mind. So yeah, so just take note. So the 38% and the 78% are landing on top of this structure. So this easily could become a area of support to continue the uptrend. Price may not come down that far at this time, but just take note that this is definitely an area of interest. So if price does come down here, we may see a pivot at this area. Okay, so I see price maybe opening higher on Sunday and then just like on NASDAQ, we get a sell to fill this gap. Maybe we only come to the 50, maybe we only come to the 38, I don't know. And then I want to see price take this, the negative 27 of the macro structure. I could see also price doing that in the beginning of the week. And then we get a sell, right, to retrace the weekly candle. Maybe we don't. Maybe price just wants to keep going up like it's been, right? Is that a breaker block right here? It was a breaker block. Okay. Option 2. Okay, so that would be a bearish option. And then we can do a third option. Okay, so this is kind of, I didn't really put this on NASDAQ, but this is what I was saying by like, I'm just looking for sell side sweeps at this point. Oops. Sweet. All right, so that's that. Real quick, let's check on our AUD/USD. This was Monday. So we were super bullish all last week, and we broke this high here. So if we zoom out real quick to that monthly order block, so we sold right just about to the 38%. And then price seems to be pivoting at this point to where we're just going to start buying from here on out. That being said, the way that we kind of like ended, we broke this high, right? And then we kind of rejected this level. So obviously it's very possible for price to be doing some sort of sweep, and then we get it like obviously like we are going to get a push to retrace this price leg that broke above here. But it is possible to get something a little bit lower than that. You know what I mean? You just check next week's for AUD. AUD, CPI, cash rate. Oh wow, okay, so we're actually doing some banking stuff next week. Yeah, so whatever statement they release or decision, I'll have to study up. I can't really say on whether or not I think they're going to move their rate. Probably not. But this could definitely give us some good volatility for next week on this pair. But yeah, so far it's definitely going as planned. But it looks like we have broke out of that retracement, and we should be continuing up from here. Obviously, if you want, you can use your fib to see where our points of interest might be if price wants to come down and retrace before continuing to the upside. And yeah, so that's that. AUD/USD is looking good. But all right, guys, thank you so much. Go ahead and comment, like, share, subscribe. Let's hit that algorithm. Let's get Jesus's name out into the Forex world. And yeah, I hope everybody has a super duper blessed week this upcoming trading week. All right, thank you guys.